And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the Sparkling Tuna Cup, the SCC number 60 weeks of Tuna Cup action. Oh my god, it's been so long. I'm of course Show's Live VIP, and with me I'm joined by these amazing players, the people in the chat, and my plushies. Always my plushies, Poppy. Welcome everyone to another week of our open tournament. The Sparkling Tuna Cup is a tournament hosted by the Cranky Ducklings and for the people out there. It is funded by Patreon. Patreon in the chat if you're interested in supporting the tournament. Patreon is the place to be. Otherwise, we are jumping right into our first series, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Site Delta, we have our Italian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Azura. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Ukrainian Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Team Hyper 1. It is Michnek. Here we go. Our PvP is upon us. We have Michnek versus Azura. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket is stacked. The bracket is full of amazing players, and we'll settle into the bracket. Don't you worry. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. But now we're focusing on our PvP, the first of many, as is tradition with online tournaments. There's going to be a lot of PvPs here tonight. I will try to avoid them as best as I can, just so we can embrace them later on, and just so we can diversify a little bit. I do have my eyes on another set of players, but again, for now, we're going to be embracing this PvP. And for now, two-gate opener out of Michnek. Meanwhile, gate expand out of Azura. Azura going for his best max packs impression. That's actually going to be a gateway into Nexus before Cybercore. Very greedy build here by Azura. He is cutting corners. He is cutting corners. Michnek does confirm. He realizes how greedy Azura is being. And the answer becomes, or the question becomes, do we one base all in? Does Michnek try to punish this? Does he try to go for the one base all in? If not, Michnek will be behind in the economy. Oh boy. The pressure's on Michnek. Clearly, Michnek, he's not happy. He's not happy of the current game state, but at the same time, Michnek also chose to go for the two-gate opener on the high ground as well. So, you know, we've made our bed. We have to sleep in it. There it is! Proxy Pylon. We're here to just kick things off, Pappy, and we're here to embrace the PvP, the chaos, the nonsense. The ape versus the ape. Let's go. Predictions in the chat. They should have been closed by now, but predictions have been open for some time. So, place your bets and best of luck. For now, Pylon has been thrown down, and show us the gateway. Back at home, it's going to be a Twilight Council initially for Blink Stalkers. Meanwhile, the Adept... Oh! Azura, he will scout, we'll get eyes on the Pylon. Gateway has been thrown down, but Azura is fully aware. Oh, hello. Hello, Monsieur Tuna. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? As again, Azura is fully aware of what's going on. For the most part, is aware of the proxy Pylon, but not fully aware if it's a robo or a gateway. Is still somewhat in the dark. Adept going to be forced back. Ooh. Adept is hunted down. And here we go. We're just going to be rallying across the map with everything we have. With this proxy gateway, going to be working with 4-gate Blink Stalkers. 3 gates back at home, 1 gateway across the map, so 4-gate Blink overall out of Michnek. Meanwhile, Azura, we're chronoing out as many Void Rays as we can. We have shield batteries, we have void rays. Azura is getting ready. He's preparing, going for a forge with cannon response. Interesting. Okay. Cannons are now on the way. We have vulnerable in the main, bear that in mind. Blink is almost halfway done, and once it does finish, we can avoid the natural, go straight to the main instead. But Azura is checking. Azura is on patrol. Probe going to be hunted down. Gets up. Oh, we do overextend. 1 Stalker gets picked up. Not a bad start for Azura. Does catch the probe. Michnek still looking for a way in. Still waiting for Blink to kick in as well. It's almost done. We're just waiting for Blink. But we cannot break this. No shot. Not against cannon, shield batteries overcharged, and now 3 void rays. That's just not going to happen. Now, the scary thing here, like, sure, we can blink into the main, but we need high ground vision. We need a sentry for hallucination, we need an observer, we need a robo, or we need a shade. The adept, the goal here should be to shade onto the high ground to get some vision. Adept is forced to go the long way around and will barely get up the ramp. It gets up the ramp. We blink into the... Oh, no. We're a little bit too late. A little bit too late there. We weren't quite in position. The blink is not there. Adept goes down. And honestly, we're not set up in the main base. Now we're throwing down shield batteries and cannons. Now Azura's getting ready. He's realizing how vulnerable he is in the main. But it does feel like Michnek has missed his opportunity. Oof. Yeah, a bit of miscontrol there with the Adepts. We do fully wall up. Adepts do not get in. Stalkers are forced back. And how many Void Rays are we on? 4. 4 Void Rays. Soon to be 5. And remember, this entire time, Azura's upper base. Azura's upper base, up in economy. I mean, Azura could afford to squeeze out some more probes, if I want to be a little bit critical. But outside of that, we're looking solid. Robos on the way. That's going to be for immortal production. Stalkers, they try to dip in. But again, we have so many more cannons and shield batteries finishing up. Oh my god. That's the 5th shield battery and the 4th cannon. like this is never being broken. At this point, we may as well, yeah, warp in a sentry. We have the high ground. We can blink into the main. And in the main base, we are that much more exposed. We blink in. Void Rays late to respond. Boys are being pulled. Yeah, we pull the boys. We activate Prismatic Alignment. The Stalkers are trapped. There's no way out. Yeah, there's no way out of this. They blink on in. We have the overcharge. We can one-shot the Void Rays. Ooh, just barely not. 2, 3 Void Rays go down. There's 2 Void Rays left, and it looks like, have we done it? We clean up every single Void Ray. And that's all we had left. Michnek. He was up against the wall. Things were looking bleak, but the blink into the main, it looks like we have done enough. We're killing every single probe. The probes are going down. And Azura is down to 1 Void. 1 Void Ray left. Again, this is the big weak point of Azura's base. Is the main. Only 1 cannon, only 1 shield battery. It was not good enough. And with that, Michnek, it looks like he's done it. Things were looking bleak. Things were looking very bleak here for Michnek, but no, he busts into the main base. Takes down the Robo. Was able to lure Azura out into the open, out into the main. Breaking the National still going to be difficult. But again, Azura is down to 2 units. 2 units left. But alas, Michnek, I understand he feels pressure to deny and threaten this mineral line. We can blink behind the mineral line and actually deny mining out of range of the cannons. True, we can do that. For now, going for a kill. Going for the kill on the main. Main base goes down. I love the idea. Yep, of blinking down to the low ground. We can deny mining. The boys are being pulled. 1 of Void Ray within range. And ooh, the overcharge is not going to be able to keep it alive. It barely lives. 1 HP. But the Void Ray can be targeted. The cannon it will. Azura, he almost got away with it. GG gets called, and Michnek will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Let's go. GG, well played. It was a bit of a Hail Mary play there out of Michnek to dive into the main, but that was the only chance. The only opportunity he had was to try to bypass the setup at the natural and blink into the main. If we want to be a little bit critical of Azura, maybe a little bit too much emphasis on defending the natural base, and we definitely could have afforded to skip out on some of the cannons and shield batteries there and put them in the main instead. Just have a more fortified location in that main base instead of what little we had to work with. So in the end, Azura unable to keep up, unable to be prepared in that main base, and Michnek takes a lead. Let's go. Michnek does take a lead. And now we're jumping into game numero 2. Let's go. Getting into game number 2. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our Italian Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Bing Bong Exports. He was looking not too bad at all in that last game, but did fumble the ball a little bit towards the end there. Can he bring it back? Can he force the ace match? It is Azura. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Ukrainian Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Team Hyper 1. It is Michnek. Michi back. Let's go. are going to be settling in. This time we're not loading into a map that has a ramp leading to the natural. This time we won't be having those gate expands. It's going to be a 2-gate opener versus a 2-gate opener all around. Let's go. So we are going to be able to settle into a much more standard PvP. Won't have as intense or as extreme of a dynamic as we saw in the previous game. We had kind of like clear lines marked, and we had the defender and the defender, offender and the defender. Yeah. As Azura does go over the probe scouts, is checking the main, and the goal here for Azura is to check for the second pylon. We're looking for the second pylon. Speaking of, Michnek moving out across the map. Likewise, yep, going for his own scouts. We have the second pylon in the main base for Azura. Meanwhile, Michnek also throwing down the second pylon as well. So we do confirm that there is no proxy, that there is no shenanigans, there is no setup early on. There's nothing out on the map. As you can see, Michnek does confirm. Meanwhile, we do have actually a bit of a greedier opener out of Azura. Okay, so Michnek is going for a 2-gate opener. Meanwhile, Azura going for a gate cybercore. Once again, Azura being quite a greedy boy. Being greedy, papi. Going for the Nexus. Yeah, it does go for the Nexus before the tech structure. We delay the Stargate in favor of the expansion. And earlier I was talking about how, like, oh, we should just get 2-gate openers against 2-gate openers, and we should be able to have, you know, more of an even back and forth. No. Once again, Michnek has to be the aggressor here, and he's going for a Stargate. Okay. It's a couple of different things. One, Azura is being greedy. He's being greedy. He's cutting corners. He did go for a Zealot Sentry opener off of 1 gateway. Is going for a faster Nexus, and will have an economic advantage. The pressure is now on Michnek, and Michnek last game responded by going for a 1-base all-in with a proxy. This time with the initial Stargate, it looks like a more macro opener. The goal here is to get economic damage and expand. And there it is. There's the expansion. So Michnek's base is going to be a little bit later, true, but he's going to make up for that with Oracle Harass. Oracles, and ideally with the ground army as well. So Michnek is going to be poking and prodding. Meanwhile, Hallucination will confirm for Azura that it is not a 1-base all-in. He does get eyes on the Stargate, that is already a tell, and will confirm the base. So Azura now knows he doesn't have to overreact. He's defending with sentries, with shield batteries, following it up with a robo into Immortal production. Azura is settling in. Oh! It's going to be settling in. Michnek likewise getting some extra hits in, going for the sentry. Doesn't quite get it. But some nice damage nonetheless. We're just shaving off the shields from, or the energy from the shield battery. And the Oracle is on the way. Bearing in mind the Oracle can wreak havoc in these mineral lines. Hallucinations do tank some shots. So not a bad move here out of Azura. Bad move, but we do manage to get control of the low ground. Force fields are thrown down. We do catch 2 of these Stalkers. Stalkers are caught up, but so are the probes. The force fields, no, they lock down the probes. Yeah, there's no way out for the probes, and the workers are going down. And we get 4 kills on the Oracle. 7 in total. 7 probe kills so far. Not a bad start for Michnek. And this means that even though Azura had the faster base, Michnek takes a worker lead. So Michnek has done enough damage, has taken an economic lead back at home. Twilight Council follow, working towards Blink. Oracles dip in, they can one-shot probes. They get 2, they get 3, they get 4. Oh, barely not a 5th. I spoke too soon. They get 6, oh my god. 6 more probes go down. The Oracle takes a lot of damage, but barely will escape. And
game paused.
Looks like we do have a bit of... we have an emergency cat pause. The cat has jumped up and taken control of the keyboard. So one moment. All good, understandable. I'm always reminded now when we casted WTL, I think it was 2 weeks ago when we casted Platinum Heroes. We casted Platinum Heroes, and Nickeract, he was playing, he was of course competing, and his cat jumped up onto the desk and he kept playing. So Nick, he was actually playing his WTM. He was playing his WTM match while there was a cat in his face. It was beautiful. And he didn't even pause, by the way, which is crazy. It would have been totally within his right to pause the game and ask for a moment, but no, Nick, he just kept playing, and the cat was just walking all over it. It's crazy, impressive. The cat just wanted attention. But now we're settling back in. We do see it, Michnek dipping out, gets a revelation off and does pull away. Looking at the Unisoul Stab, 13 probe kills so far. That is more than made up for the otherwise economic start of Azura. Azura unable to defend, unable to keep up. And across the map, we see Michnek settling into his own gateway explosion. We have 3 gates, we have Stalkers amassing as well, and we're soon going to be moving out with quite an army lead. When I say that, Azura's making up for that with Immortals. We have +1 on the way, we have Immortals on the way. So even though Azura will have an otherwise less mobile, smaller army, he will have some of these high impact units like Immortals to make up for that. That is where Azura's strength will lie, in those Immortals. Both players going to be expanding, both players take their 3rd bases. They are building up. Robo is now on the way for Michnek. Adepts do threaten the natural base, and they shade in. Yeah, they do shade in. Probes are now going down. At the same time, Michnek going for a big counterattack. But how many probes will we lose? As we are losing quite a lot. Only 1 Stalker to defend. That's not going to be enough. Uh-oh. It's not enough damage. There's not enough DPS here for Michnek. Losing a lot of probes. Meanwhile, across the map, trying to force a cancel, but alas, he will not. Do hallucinate an Immortal, making it look a little bit larger than it is. The army, I mean. Okay, he's taking a lot of damage. Back at home, how many probe kills? 11! 11 probe kills. Ay, ay, ay. That is insane. 11 workers have gone down for Michnek. Adepts have been cleaned up. The Oracle's dipping back in. Headed back into the bait. Oh! Ooh, Oracle finally goes down. 1 Oracle does fall. Ha! Oracle pushing in, triggering the shields. But Michnek unable to break that 3rd. And as a result, the economies are evening up. Michnek still has a slight lead, but not as large as it once was. Ooh. Catching up with the chat. Maybe the cat controlled the oracles. True. Maybe. Maybe. That quote, the cat was very upset about the lack of attention. It was. Aye, aye, aye. So here we go. Michnek is moving out across the map. Looking at the army supplies, Michnek has 16 Stalkers to the 6 of Azura, but it's not about the Stalkers, it's going to be about the Immortals. Oracle once again hits the 3rd base, shaves off a couple of workers. Michnek rotating over towards the left-hand side. He ignores the main army, headed towards the natural instead. We blink in, focus on the Stalkers. We ignore the shield battery, we head straight to the main. We depower so much of the production. And sniping the Forge. Delaying +2. And even denying, oh my god, denying charge. Cybercore is going to be sniped. Michnek pushing further into the main. He has control of the high ground. There are Immortals on the low ground. We do blink down. The Immortals were lying in wait. Ooh, and we force a recall. A lot of Stalkers do fall. That was a big loss for Michnek, but he was able to snipe quite a lot. Michnek is now up 10 workers. He was able to deny charge, able to deny the upgrade, snipe the Forge. But he does get knocked down to 4 Stalkers. Michnek did plummet in supply. Oracle diving back in. Still no shield battery. No shield battery in the main. This Oracle has 11 kills on its own. Finally, it goes down. But that's been 26 probe kills throughout this game. If you're a Protoss player in the chat, if you're a probe in the chat, look away. Look away, papi. That's a lot of economic damage on both sides. 26 probe kills. And we can see that Azura, he's rebuilding his Twilight Council with charge, rebuilding that Forge for the upgrades. This does mean that most likely Azura's push is going to be delayed. He's going to wait until charge kicks in. That is going to give Michnek a lot of time to rebuild, to resaturate. I mean, his own economy has been looking insane throughout all of this. Even though Michnek lost a lot of his stalkers, he can replace them. He can and he will replace them. I mean, I say that. I'm replacing them with Zealots and Archons, less so Stalkers. There we go. Warping the Stalkers on the way. And Michnek is going to be looking to overwhelm this army. Now, Immortals can do insanely well against some of these beefier units. I'm referring to Stalkers, I'm referring to Archons and other Immortals, but less so against Chargelots. That's the role of Chargelots here in this army composition, is to collapse on top of the Stalkers and Immortals, tank shots, and eviscerate the army. That is why we have Archons. Azura has a very high-tech army, Archons and Immortals. It might be smaller, but has a lot of potential, depending on the angle of attack. Michnek does spot it, does respect it. Rotating around, trying to find a better angle. Rotating over towards the right-hand side, towards the 4th. Another warping of Zealots on the way, 10 Zealots at a time. And if the Archons are a little bit too far back, yeah, Zealots collapses over the Stalkers. The Archons are not quite in the best position. And likewise, looks like Michnek is going to be able to break through. I say that Archons are now coming in close. Yeah, we have to back off. You have to back off, and Zealots, they melt against the Archons. Another wave of Zealots on the way. And we are now able to focus on some of those Archons. I say that they still just mow through the Zealot army, and Azura will take the fight. Again, what was that? 6 Archons? 6 Archons, they just annihilate the mass charge on composition, and Michnek, he has to back off. Again, this low eco style, I say this low gas style, not quite working out. Now we're taking extra gases, and this is for a higher Stalker count. This is for more Immortals and more Archons. We were staying on low gases for so long, and the Mass Zealot did not work out. You respect the Archons, as more Archons are on the way. They're coming in. How many? 7 Archons. 7 Archons for Azura. The Zealots are not the answer. Not against this kind of army. Azura is pushing out. Rotating over towards the right-hand side. Oh, we're still relying on Zealots here at the moment for Michnek. The gas guys are still not kicking in, and we do have position. Yeah, we have the Concave, we have the Ram. Prism goes down, but Azura's going to take the fight. Yeah, the positioning here is just so brutal. And Michnek just cannot push up this Ram. He's out of position, cannot push up. Archons are going down. The entire army just crumbles. And Azura, he snowballs out of control, breaks on through, gets some of the 4th base as well. And he will claim this expansion. Michnek coming in from behind with some Stalkers, but it's too little too late. The death blow of an army from Azura. He's reached it. GG gets called, and Azura will tap the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. Let's go. Let us go. As we are going to be settling in and getting ready for the ace match. Getting ready. Yeah, just make sure we're all able to settle it in, and we're getting into the ace match. It all ends here. It all ends on Golden Aura. Just trying to keep track of some of our players. Make sure all is well. Making sure we're okay. Here we go. We're jumping into that final game. It all ends here. It all ends on Golden Aura. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our Italian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Azura. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Ukrainian Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Team Hyper 1. It is Michnek. Here we go. Are going to be settling in. And we have seen Michnek in both Game 1 and Game 2 be quite successful with his aggression. I will say that Michnek was able to get so much economic damage done in the last game. Unfortunately, despite getting all that economic damage, did stay on a low-tech army. Something that I should have maybe emphasized a little bit more there is that, again, we did delay our gases, which meant we were focusing on a gateway-heavy composition, a very zealot-heavy composition, instead of taking up into more Immortals, into more Archons, into more Stalkers, or into Disruptors, into something that has a little bit more sustainability there. So, alas, even though Michnek had a nice economic lead, wasn't able to make the best use of that economy. And Azura, playing a more defensive style, did survive, did thrive. Did thrive there, and we'll see how our dynamics do change. Once again, we do have a 2-gate opener out of Michnek, and once again, Azura doing his best Max Pax impression, going for the gate cyber into expansion. He's done it every game so far. Game 1 was not a surprise. Game 1 made sense because it was side delta. Game 2 was a little bit shocking to me, and now the trend continues. Clearly, Azura is a bit of a greedier player here and is willing to, be the defender early on. Here we go. As we are setting up for our expansion, Azura is taking a second gas, guys. So Azura could potentially go for a Stargate first, but never mind, he's going for the Nexus. Nexus is going to be thrown down in Michnek. He is a little bit too late to throw down the pylon. Yeah, the block is delayed, and Michnek unable to really hinder the expansion of Azura. So Azura can embrace a more greedier start, and the question becomes, Michnek, do we go for the 1-base all-in? What's the plan? What is the plan here? Michnek is aware of what's going on. He's aware of the opener of choice. Stalker Sentry moving out. Double Stalker behind this. The probe is not looking to expand. Where are we going? We're going for a proxy. Let's go. Okay. So Michnek, he sees the greedy opener of Azura, and he's like, no. Not this time. Not this time, I say. The probe is being sent out, and we are setting up and getting ready for the pylon. I say that there is a probe in position to expand. So I'm curious. There we go. There's the pylon being thrown down out in the center of the map. But the probe backs off, and we expand. Okay, so we are going for a proxy pylon, but we are not going for a 1-base all-in. As the hallucination does confirm, pylon has been set up so we can reinforce across the map, but they're going to be slow warp-ins. I've not quite seen this response before. It's very middle of the road. We're expanding, but we're also trying to be as assertive as possible. Hallucination does confirm the pylon, and also confirms the lack of proxy. And more Stalkers coming to reinforce. And 2 more as well. Getting to 7 Stalkers. And can we overwhelm the defenses of Azura? Back at home, going for a defensive Immortal was a Robo Opener. Immortals are on the way. We have Force Fields. We have Guardian Shield. Try and bust in. Force Fields are not ideal. Hallucinations, they tank some shots. We bring down one of the Stalkers. Going for the Sentry. Sentry goes down. And we get 1, we get 2. 2 Sentries do fall, and we barely don't get the Stalker. Overcharge is popped, and we hold. Azura does hold. The Immortal has arrived. A nice Force Field on the ramp. Getting another Stalker. The Force Field is about to run out, and we have to respect it. We have to back off. We get another Stalker. Trading 1-to-1. Not the best trades from Michnek. He was hoping for something better. Bearing in mind, Azura is up in workers. Up 7 probes. Compared to Michnek. So we did need a better trade. Behind this, working towards Blink, working towards a Robo. Azura likewise settling into his 2 bases, thinking about a third. A little bit greedy. He's at least shaking its location. Azura taking up. Forge on the way. Very tech heavy, actually, going for a faster Forge, working towards much faster plus or much faster Blink. Blink is on the way. Probe gets shut down. Adepse shade into the main. Ooh, we commit to the shade. We are getting probe kills. We get one. We get 2 workers so far. 2 probes to 2 adepts. It's an okay trade. We're hoping for a little bit more. Meanwhile, this I was not expecting. Michnek, he's rushing into a robotics bay. He's rushing into disruptors or colossus. Okay. Okay, I see you. Adept shades in. Gets a probe. A 1-to-1 trade. Third base is being taken for both players. Both players are expanding, but Michnek, he's the one rushing into rushing into disruptors. Bold move out of Michnek. But I do appreciate that, as opposed to the previous game, this time he's being a little more tech heavy, but he's being quite greedy here by rushing into this as quickly as possible. It's a risky move here out of Michnek, but he's getting away with it because Azura's being more defensive. And there it is, the first disruptor is in production. Here we go. This is a Hearthstone response to Max Packs. I don't think I've ever seen Hearthstone versus Max Packs. So I'm unfamiliar with his specific build. But could be what Michnek just did do. Unfortunately, Hearthstone is less of an active player. I think the only times we get to cast Hearthstone is during WTL. I think World Team League is like the only instance where we can actually cast Hearthstone. But I'm familiar that he does come up with his own builds and his own responses. I'm familiar with that at least. Azura going to be poking in, breaking out even. Meanwhile, back at home, Michnek is going to be following up with those disruptors. 1 disruptor on the high ground. Disruptor is set up. Azura rotating over. Second disruptor has arrived. And can Azura break his opponents? Can he break this position? It's going to be all about those Nothers. Will they connect? Azura is rotating around. He blinks in. He gets one. He gets one. He gets the second as well. The Novas, they do not connect whatsoever. That is all that we had. That was the backbone of the army, and it crumbles. And no shield battery, no overcharge, no nothing. Just stalkers, and we're up against immortals. Boys are being pulled, they have to be. Michnek trying to dive on those immortals, will get both of them. But it's too little too late, and Azura is overwhelming. And breaks through the army, shuts down the stalkers. And we're gonna try and chase down the prism, and we might be able to get it as well. Nah, we're not even gonna be able to get it. Disruptor has arrived Nova. It looks like it will not connect. And Azura, snowballing out of control, has broken through the third base into the natural now as well. Only a handful of stalkers remaining. Barely an army. And GG gets called, and Azura takes the series 2-1. GG. GG, well played. Azura does take it in the end. It was an interesting response out of Michnek to the Gate Cyber Expand. Something that I've never seen before. Apparently, in the chat, they're saying that maybe that's more of a Hearthstone build that he does whip out. But yeah, I've legit never seen any other player do it. So interesting here that Michnek did embrace it, and I mean, the chat is alluding, or even Legoland is alluding to the fact that it works best against a more Stargate opener as opposed to what we saw here. Unfortunate. And GG, well played. Azura will take the series and will advance on. Let's go.